The American Horse Rescue Network is pleased to present Horses and Humans, our past, present, and future. This video will briefly show how horses have been part of our lives, how they connect with us, how wild horses are protected and managed, and how horses can improve community-based education programs. Our nation from the beginning has partnered with the horse. They were a major component in our migration from the East Coast to the West Coast. They worked our fields and fought in our wars. America was built in a large part on the backs and strength of our equine partners. They worked in our fields to bring harvest and food to our families. They were used to pull the very first ambulances that helped save the sick and injured, and our first fire trucks. Horses provided our first generation of public transportation. Horses were a critical component in our early war efforts. In the mid-20th century, horses continued their military service to our nation. During the Korean War, one of the greatest stories of bravery and heroism was authored by a Marine named Staff Sergeant Reckless. She was a Mongolian-bred horse who was highly valued as a Marine and a Korean War veteran. She had astonishing courage. During a battle in March 1953, she made 51 trips within 24 hours, often by herself. She carried 386 rounds of ammunition that totaled nearly 9,000 pounds. She walked over 35 miles, including up steep mountains while under enemy fire with a rate of 500 rounds per minute. She carried the wounded to safety. While she was wounded twice, she kept going strong. She was eventually promoted to Staff Sergeant and named one of America's 100 Greatest Heroes by Life magazine. Because of her fearlessness, courage, and accomplishments, Staff Sergeant Reckless was honored with multiple honors. While horses served in our military, they also starred in movies and television series. Today, horses are our friends and companions, and they continue to play a vital role in our society. The entertainment industry continues featuring the horse in movies. Horses serve in police departments across America, and many departments list their police horses as officers. In 2004, on December 13th, the United States designated this date as the National Day of the Horse. Horses are unique animals. They have a natural ability to connect with humans. We share similar neurons in the brain that gives us the ability to recognize and have empathy and compassion for other living creatures. A horse can sense how a human is feeling from the energy being projected. This allows the ability of the human to build self-awareness and self-regulation that improves emotional and behavioral control. This builds a foundation so humans can more easily be rehabilitated, both psychologically and physically. The human-horse connection contributes to the effectiveness of equine-assisted therapy programs, including returning veterans who are transitioning into civilian life. Often, when veterans return home to family and friends, while happy to be home, some begin to feel lonely and lost, no longer needed, like an outsider, and feel emotional pain building inside. When these veterans are with their horses, they feel a connection, an emotional release. The horse-human connection helps them gain their life back and feel value and control in their life. Equine-assisted therapy is shown to help veterans who are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, conduct disorder, and other mental health issues. Equine-assisted therapy is also a benefit to helping incarcerated youth. Similarly to returning veterans, being with the horses gives the youth time to express and feel, which helps them better cope and get through past traumatic experiences. Equine-assisted therapy for prisoners, both young and adult, has a proven record in reducing recidivism. Equine-assisted therapy and activity programs are vital to helping children with special needs. Equine-assisted therapy also provides a significant benefit to helping children that are victims of abuse and neglect. Throughout America, wild Mustangs and Burros live in their natural environment. If you are lucky enough to see a herd of Mustangs run free, you will witness their majestic movements and power. Within their environment, they can run from danger and roam with the herd and seek shelter, food, and water. But this was not always the case where horses were rounded up, traumatized, and killed. This was discovered on a day in 1950 by Velma Johnson, eventually known as Wild Horse Annie, where she saw blood slushing from the bed of a truck. She followed it. It went directly to a slaughterhouse outside Reno, Nevada. From that day forward, she gave the rest of her life to help save the wild horses. For the next 20 years, she helped pass the first legal protections for Mustangs. She fought 4 different times to establish county, state, and national legislation, and in many cases even endangered her life. Because of Velma Johnson, as of 1971, wild horses and burros are protected and controlled. As the Act clearly states, wild, free-roaming horses and burros shall be protected from capture, branding, harassment, or death. This act designates the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, to manage and control wild horses to preserve the ecological balance of their environment. In 1976, the Federal Land Policy and Management Act authorized helicopters for the use of herding by the BLM. A couple years later, in 1978, the Public Rangeland Improvement Act authorized these federal government agencies to remove or destroy wild horses and burros as needed, including sterilization. While these horses are protected today, herd management programs of the Bureau of Land Management and other agencies continue putting those horses at risk. The sounds of helicopters promotes wild horses and burros to flee. The sight and sounds are unfamiliar to these animals. As a result, they run in fear. A horse's hearing is much keener than a human. This excessive sound puts fear into the animal, causing them to run frantically through barbed wire fences, stepping into holes and tripping, causing leg injury and death. Some have faced a terrifying death as they fall off of cliffs. Gathered Mustangs are put in overcrowded pens. Crammed together, tempers are short, often leading to violent fights resulting in serious injury and even death. A life of freedom has been replaced by confinement, crowding, fighting, and violence. Families are separated, and efforts to reunite, injury and death occur as those efforts know no boundaries. These beautiful wild animals are corralled with no protection from the extreme hot and cold weather. Despite pleas from the American people, including citizens who have offered to erect shelters, their voices are not honored. Is this how we treat an American icon? The Mustang represents our history, heritage, and culture. They are living links to our past. The Mustang and burro deserve honorable, dignified treatment. Their freedom is lost. Once a true symbol of freedom, the gathered Mustang is reduced to this: unable to find shelter. The herd in stress from being apart from their herd. Mustangs have a social structure, but when corralled and crammed together, the social structure has deteriorated, resulting in fighting, often to the death. To think that these magnificent creatures once roamed free. A common scene. The Bureau of Land Management, for the most part, shows no mercy for the living. Brain science has shown that when a wild horse is forced into captivity, it has a significant negative impact to their physical and emotional health from these often traumatic and tragic experiences. We need another Wild Horse Annie before it's too late. Wild horses have value in their natural environment. Instead of rounding them up in an inhumane manner, these animals can be used to provide benefit and companionship while benefiting these wild animals. Mustangs have an immense value and can be easily adopted out. This is Gunner. He's our logo boy for the American Horse Rescue Network. He was saved from going to slaughter in Canada in 2007. Gunner is now 33 years old. He's healthy, strong, and a leader of the herd in his pasture. His spirit embeds itself in everyone who meets him. Gunner, Dakota, and Warpaint, formerly rescued, began their careers as community service horses in Phoenix, Arizona, and now reside in Minnesota, continuing their roles in community service. Our community service horses have come to life in book form as characters to teach children about life lessons. The objectives of the American Horse Network are to rescue horses at risk for slaughter, provide grants for rescue efforts and facilities, and provide equine-assisted youth and community service programs. We provide grants for horse rescue facilities that need financial assistance. We also work to provide equine needs such as blankets, feed, farrier services, and veterinarian bills. We educate the next generation of horse advocates. They will carry on the efforts to free America's Mustangs and Burros and to make sure horse slaughter plants never reopen on American soil. American Horse Rescue Network is currently developing an equine-assisted therapy program for incarcerated adults and young people. For many years, American Horse Rescue Network horses have been involved in community events. Visiting senior living facilities brightens the day for residents. The magic touch. It calms, comforts, and protects against stress. And not only for the humans, but the animals as well. Animal and human connection and the many positives it brings can never be overstated. Equine therapy is highly beneficial to children with autism. It helps them develop natural core skills they need to function in society, and to see the smiles on these wonderful children brings warmth to the heart. A gentle touch and a smile. Horse trainers, parents, and special needs children all connecting with the horses is a sight to see. These horses and these environments build a community of trust and happiness. The beauty and benefit of horses for the next generation of human-horse connection can begin with you today. The horse helped us build this nation, and today they continue to serve America. From their services to the military and police departments, assisted programs for our returning veterans, and special needs children, the horse has earned the right to a dignified and honorable treatment. With your help, we can provide that honorable and dignified treatment that the wild horses deserve. You can join our network through collaboration, volunteering, sponsorships, and donations. Your tax-deductible donation supports our program in the following ways: providing financial assistance, veterinarian care, food, farrier services, and other ways to support local rescue facilities, to provide equine-assisted therapy to adults and teen inmates, supports youth programs to help educate the next generation of horse advocates, provides community service outreach where horses are used for senior living and children with special needs. The American Horse Rescue Network is a nationwide 501c3 charitable organization. We look forward to having you join our network to help collaborate, volunteer, sponsor, or donate so we can continue expanding our objectives to rescue horses at risk from slaughter and to strengthen horse rescue efforts and facilities and equine-assisted programs for the youth and community. Let's work together to bring value to the human-horse connection in the best interest of humans and the horse together for future generations to come.